Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're looking at the new Super Evolution VIVI BECCA V1. Ironic that we got the Super Evolution of V1 VIVI BECCA after the Super Evolution of V2 VIVI BECCA, but alas, here we are, and in today's video, we're going to do a showcase on this particular character in regular play. Now, when it comes to 6+, especially the end of month 6+ units for Kizuna, most of the time they shine in Rumble. Like, that's where you will see the most longevity for these particular units. And when we get a character that gets a 6+ that doesn't really shine in Rumble, let alone at all in their regular 6-star compared to their 6+, then we're in a bit of a yikes situation. But this particular character is very sought after for two particular events. Now, VIVI BECCA V1 basically came into the game for Doflamingo 2. When Garbs challenges was so heavily prevalent, Doflamingo 2, the 13-star event, was very challenging, and if you didn't have this character, it was basically just like, don't even bother with the content until you summon this particular unit. Now, Dofi 2 is just like an absolute cakewalk, but we're going to go back to the content, take a look at how this unit performs over there, because like their orb manipulation, their end of turn healing, their chain lock on switch is very, very strong, and it does still work very, very nicely if you are taking on that piece of content. But with the updated end of game players, the Grand Voyage over at level 5 against Mr. 3, you need to bring a Dex Cerebral VIVI. So this is the best characters to use for that. They're basically designed for it, so we're going to dive in over there with the updated team for that as well. As for the buffs this character got, like, realistically, like, this unit, honestly, the 6+ is very lackluster. There's one line that I really like here. It says that if the crew has type effect nullification, which is popping up every single super buff, this character will give a chain multiply growth rate of 0.2, 0.4, 0.6 with taps for 3 turns. Otherwise, you get a 3 times color affinity boost for 3 turns. Now, this unit was always a color affinity booster for 2 turns. The upside to the unit was their switch effect was going to always give a chain lock, then rotates Cerebral and Striker, Strength and Dex orbs into matching. This ability right here, on release, was so goddamn strong. Like, this is when switch abilities were first being a thing, and a 2.5 times chain lock every single turn was so disgustingly powerful for, like, content. It was absolutely wild. But they did actually get a super switch. Problem is, you need to switch 8 times, which is so disgustingly high. I didn't even bother with it in this video because, like, it's so damn high. You get a full board of orb manipulation, including type and block slots. You get a 10,000 heal at the end of the turn, and you get a chain boundary at 2.75 to 35 times. This might be good in super boss where there is like some sort of effect where it says they nullify your type effects, which is literally every single super boss nowadays. And you could probably do some stuff with them, but like I just don't really see this character being played in like endgame big damage teams. The big draw to this unit is they were completely remove defense up, completely remove damage reduction, which is always very, very strong. Because no matter how many turns of these effects the enemy has, you can bring this unit and you can just basically bypass it. As for anything else with this character, the captain was always pretty lackluster. We're not going to show off that today. They've never been a very good captain. They'll always use as a sailor. So that's what we're going to do today in the 2 pieces of content that they shine in the most. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. If we get over 100 likes on this video, I will go back and I will take them into PvP. How's that sound? But let's dive in. Alright, so starting off at the Covenant Heavenly Demon 2 Garbs Challenge, I decided to run a double Nami team just because like, I haven't run Nami in forever, man. Like, and Nami was just such a fun unit when she first came out. Still is a very fun unit, just completely removing paralysis and using it to just charge her special. So I thought, let's use VIVI BECCA over in this on a striker sort of centric team, and then sort of splash in some free spirit units where we actually need. But VIVI BECCA with this particular piece of content over here in Heavenly Demon 2, they were very, very valuable for a lot of different stages. The weird thing about this content, though, is that they didn't want you to use a color affinity boost on the final stage, because then Dofi would have some sort of interrupt, but then also had defense up, so you couldn't really use the VIVI BECCA special on the final stage. But again, they just really wanted you to use the character throughout the entire run. Now, when this content first came out, no stalling it was never a possibility, but now we can just easily tear through it with a no stall lineup. VIVI BECCA being a striker and cerebral unit works out quite nicely. Both of the classes do need a little bit of help. So getting a 6+ for those classes is nice, but look, it's not going to save the class or anything like that. But strikers are still pretty strong. They've still got a lot of good units. Cerebral still have a lot of very good units too, and you can do some fun stuff when it comes to this content. But if you're talking big damage teams, like Free Spirit is where this character is going to shine the most, because Vivi is actually a Free Spirit striker, where Rebecca is a cerebral striker. But the consensus of the unit is built up around the Cerebral Striker base. Now, as you can see there on turn 3, Virgo actually has defense up. That's where they wanted you to first use the VIVI Rebecca special. Yeah, the idea was you use the VIVI Rebecca special on that turn, and then you can then get the special back by the end of the quest, or you can get it on the Gladius stage and remove the damage reduction, whichever way you wanted to go there. So that was the first place that they wanted to use this. They wanted you to use the special. Around the time of Luffy Law, Saba Koala, that's where these characters were very, very good. Time Skip Nami was fantastic for this quest once upon a time because she removed one-sided paralysis with her sailor ability. But now, like I said, we have such powerful characters for this content, and it's easy peasy mode. The next part of this content where VIVI Rebecca shone was this stage right here against Pikqchu. Pikqchu gives you a chain growth reduction, massive chain growth reduction. Also has defense up, and then also if you don't have a chain lock when you kill Pikqchu, he actually gives you a 1.1 times chain lock for the rest of the fight, which is incredibly low. It nullifies your damage so drastically to the point that when you get to the end stage in the final fight against Doflamingo, you just lose so much damage. And because this is such a long piece of content, being 10 stages where you have to use specials every single turn back in the day, if you had that chain lock, it was basically just over. So having VIVI Rebecca there, you could just switch with them, get the chain lock, and then you wouldn't have to worry about it. The next fun part was that you weren't using the defense up removal from VIVI Rebecca there because you wanted to be in a single form of VIVI Rebecca for this stage against Sugar and my god, I'm blanking. Is it Treble? Yeah, Treble. Treble and Sugar. Now, the idea against Treble and Sugar is they make all orbs into Dex, and then they make Dex orbs unfavorable. With the switch ability of VIVI Rebecca, you can switch with them, rotate all those Dex orbs into matching, as long as your characters are Cerebral and Striker. So another really, really good stage where VIVI Rebecca shone. And then if you had the VIVI Rebecca special back by this point, because you could obviously stall certain turns on certain stages, you could actually use their special here to remove the damage reduction. But look, no matter where you used it, like, it didn't matter all that much. Ideally, most teams early on would use it against the defense up on Virgo stage because you got the color affinity buff, and then you could use something like the Kyros support that gave them a 2x attack boost and actually just blast through Virgo on that stage. And then when you got to this stage, you wouldn't have it ready, so you brought another character to remove damage reduction. But for here, we're using Nami because we can just spam Nami specials through the entire fight and then use Uta as our attack and orb boost, which is absolutely hilarious. But this is another stage, again, where VIVI Rebecca was so damn strong. And like I said, back in the day, 2.5 times chain lock every single turn, if you are switching, and then getting an end of turn heal was really, really nice. Like, it was so damn nice, especially when Virgo cut all your HP and you just needed to start building it back up. Stuff like pinch healing and that end of turn healing that VIVI Rebecca is giving, it was so beneficial for each turn. On top of that, the orb manipulation was just so clutch, because if you were getting stuff like Dex orbs for quick characters, or you were getting strength orbs for stuff like Dex characters that were unfavorable, you could basically just rotate them and just not have to worry about it for the foreseeable future. And then if you had a matching orb on VIVI Rebecca, they would obviously rotate it to the other orb because they rotate those orbs as you guys switch as well. So very, very powerful character for Dofi 2. As I mentioned, like, I've done goddamn so many videos on Doflamingo 2 since its release. It was still like one of the harder pieces of content. Nowadays it's just an absolute joke, but it's still a really, really good place for me to test if you could bring like double captain and then just no stall it with ease. It's still a really, really good place to showcase characters' power and that sort of stuff, but like, to get the content done, man. Like, as you guys will see here on this final stage, which is where they, again, want you to use the VIVI Rebecca special with something like the kid support, or the judge support, or some sort of support that would give you a 1.5 times color affinity boost. Once Saba Koala came out, it made it so much easier because you could just switch with Saba Koala, get the color affinity buff, and then use the VIVI Rebecca special. But this is another stage where VIVI Rebecca just was so damn good. If you guys wanted to try and get the super swap here, because obviously VIVI Rebecca is going to make this even easier than it is, you'd rotate those block orbs as well. For myself, I just decided to make the content easy and brought the Magello ship just for funsies. But as you can see there, we can easily take out Doflamingo, even through the defense up nowadays. It's crazy. Alright, so that was more for you new guys that are just sort of like tearing your way through content, having a chat about the nostalgic times. Let's talk about the endgame stuff, and let's talk about content that we have nowadays. So we're diving into Grand Voyage level 5 against Mr. 3. Now, against Mr. 3 over here on Little Island, or Little Garden, or whatever it's called, you need to bring a full Dex team, a full Cerebral team. You need to have a VV on the team, and you have to complete it within 7 turns. So the character that is designed for this content is, lo and behold, VV Rebecca. So having any Dex VV on the team, you can do it with V2 Dex VV Rebecca, but look, you're just playing on hard mode if that's the case. So utilizing VIVI BECCA V1 just is incredibly easy. This particular team I have already put out in a video. I'll try to remember to link it in the description, but just go check out like the Grand Voyage playlist. You guys will be able to find it. It is like one of the easiest teams to clear this, and it does it very, very nicely. The addition of VIVI BECCA 6+, doesn't really do too much for the content. It basically just allows you to get more damage on the final stage, as well as have more damage in the lead up, because the Super Evolution obviously gives you a nice little stat increase. And if you guys have them level in break 5 with some cotton candy, like the character is going to be one of your harder hitters on the team, because you have that Super Evolution stats in compared to stuff like Black Maria Ulti, compared to stuff like Robin and Koala, as well as Hiyori, and same with Shanks and Buggy. Super Evolutions stereotypically have a little bit more stats, so you should be able to sort of weasel your way through there. But the reason that VIVI BECCA is so prevalent for this particular fight is because you get a chain coefficient reduction on stage 2 here against the Penguins. It's for 5 turns, so if you have a chain lock, you won't have to worry about any chain coefficient reduction, because you are getting a chain lock and automatically bringing yourself to a 2.5 times chain every single time you attack. On top of that, there is a 4-turn, or goes down to 3, I think, attack down if you're above or below a certain chain, and the 2.5 chain lock sits you smack bang right in the middle of that particular chain boundary. So very, very powerful stuff to use this particular character. And as I mentioned, if you aren't bringing her like VIVI BECCA V1, it just, like I said, it makes it so much harder. You're not going to see the super swap, because again, like the downside to this unit is like their super swap is on an 8-turn swap charge. 8-turn swap charge is too much, man. It's so ridiculous. And if you look at characters like Whitebeard and Ace, it just completely destroys the character. Unless you have a way of actually getting super swap charges with like supports or sailor abilities or captain abilities, then you're just never going to see it. Unless you're playing in the boosted meta. Characters that have the ability to give themselves super swap charge, especially as a sailor, are the characters that shine the most. Stuff like Zoro Sanji, for example, and their ability to get a super swap charge if they hit a 10 recovery or 1 orb, makes them so valuable, not only for speed farming content, but for like every single team they've ever been put on. So overall, like, you don't need VIVI BECCA V1 for really anything in the game, but I really wanted to showcase where the 2 areas you want to bring them the most. Obviously, you need to bring them here, but if you don't have them super evolved, don't stress. It's still very clearable, very easy with the right investments. And obviously in Heavenly Demon 2, like, there's just so many teams that can do it without VIVI BECCA now. But even if you have V1 VIVI BECCA and you are struggling over in that content and you don't have this 6+, or maybe you're just like a mid-game player, you haven't even been bothered with that particular side of the content, just head back over there and just like run VIVI BECCA V1, and you guys will just absolutely tear shreds against poor old Dofi. Because now, like, you have a higher color affinity booster, you have bigger chain boundary if you can be bothered switching, and you just have much more stats, which is going to help out in the long run. But overall, very lackluster 6+. Not a huge fan of the character at all in terms of what they've done with the design, except for that one line that says if you have the type effect nullification, because it just tells me that they are noticing that we're noticing them do this artificial difficulty, and if we're noticing it, then they want to do something about it to make us feel like they are sort of moving forward within the trajectory of One Piece Treasure Cruise. But with the release, with the upcoming 11th anniversary, there should be some exciting times. I'm so keen for Pirate Rumble Assault mode, and once we do get into the Crux 11th anniversary, the content will be flowing. As we've had a lot of long weekends here in Australia, and I've had a lot of like family duties I've been attending to, haven't been able to really pump out that much content, on top of the fact that we've had some pretty dry weeks in OPTC. But like I said, the 11th anniversary will be in full swing, and the anime is starting to heat up as well. So we should be getting some pretty fiery stuff in the next couple of months, or at least within the next sort of 3 weeks. But let me know what you guys think of the 6+ in the comment section below. Are you a fan? Are you not a fan? Do you want to see them in PvP? Hit the like button if you guys do want to see that. 100 likes and I'll take them in. But hit the subscribe button, most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. Please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one.